This is a demonstration of Trimble AutoBid SheetMetal's integration with FabShop. When working with both FabShop and AutoBid, the integrations include the ability to import items from FabShop, first off, allowing you to create a template within FabShop and then pull all the duct and fittings into AutoBid so you don't have to actually do the takeoff. It will allow you to choose the job you wish to use. In this case, I'm just using the current job. And in doing that, I can also identify what standard I'm using. I'm using the standard for Vulcan. You then can also apply any scopes as far as zone, building, or whatever breakouts you wish to include with what you're importing into the software. And then you simply import. Once the items are imported, you then can close out of the import view. When going to takeoff, you then will be able to see that the items that were in the import brought in from FabShop are reflected. You also have the ability to take the information from AutoBid after you've estimated a job. When appropriate, you can move it over into an export that can be automatically pulled into FabShop. You can choose what areas of the job to pull over. It will create a list of all the fittings and duct associated with the job. You're able to save that export wherever you want to save it. And once you've done that, you can even see the export file with all the different fittings and duct associated with that. And then you can hand that export file off to your FabShop person where they can import that information over into FabShop.
Now that we've got our import file from our estimator, we can go into FabShop, select our Import/Export menu, and import the FabShop file directly into our project. So we'll find the file on our computer. There's our import. We'll select it. And then we can set our mapping file. Here I have it set to my AutoBid mapping, but we can set up multiple mapping files depending on the program that we're importing from. Once we have that selected, we'll hit import. And likely we'll get some questions depending on how our mapping file is set up, if there's anything new that we need to configure. Since we've already set this, it's going to start importing our files and our fittings. And we'll see our fittings start to show up as it processes. Some of the information that we're going to get from the AutoBid side is going to be the fitting type mapped to a pattern ID within FabShop. We'll also get the material, the gauge, the size, and then FabShop is going to interpret a lot of that based on the specification that we've selected to get it more specific on the details as far as reinforcing, notching, and all of that. Now that our file is finished importing, we can come down on the bottom and see some quick information. We're totaling up the weight, the area, and the cost and hours. This is all being driven from information within our FabShop database. So now we can open up any of the parts that we want to look at and verify that they're coming in correctly, make any adjustments that we might need to. Yeah, and once we're finished making those adjustments, we can come up, select our job folder, and then process the job. And this will nest this on our sheets based off of the material. Now that our nesting is completed, we can take a look at how things were laid out automatically and make any adjustments to the actual nesting or we see fit. We can click through each sheet and review how is it laid each of these out. We're getting pretty good coverage here on our sheets. But if we needed to make any fine adjustments, move different patterns to different sheets to help optimize our fabrication process, we can definitely do that. This workflow is really set up for those areas on projects where we've got wide open space. We don't have to coordinate around other trades as much. And bringing in that file right from our estimate is kind of a shortcut to the fabrication process. But let's say we're out and we're field measuring things. We're importing those into FabShop, typing in the fittings. We can also take this file and send it back into AutoBid so that we can take advantage of the tools and the reports that we have in our AutoBid estimating solution. So to do that, if we had input these fittings, we can go up to Import/Export, and we can export that FabShop file. And here, one of our options is export to AutoBid, and that'll create the necessary file so that we can bring that into the AutoBid tool. We hope this run through was helpful. Stay tuned for additional workflows from Trimble MEP.